is Jaimelyn Gray, and welcome to You've Got a Thing, an interview thing about Milwaukee theater things. I am the host of this program, and thank you for joining us on this week of September 25th is the date of our program, and that's this week. Yeah, so I'm a little brain foggy because we're thick in rehearsals over at the Constructivists for our world premiere of Bed and Breakfast of the Damned by Cameron McNary, and so I'm getting less sleep than normal but it's what we live for as artists. It's what we live for. So thank you so much for joining me today. We've got a great interview today with some artists from Milwaukee Chamber Theatre. We've got Amy Horst and Stephen Hudson-Mairet, who are both visual, part of the visual team. The things that you see while you're watching the artists perform. Amy is a costume designer, and Stephen is the scenic designer of their current production over there at Chamber of Old Wicked Songs. And so we had a really great conversation, and all kinds of things about like why you should see it and all those things. I do have to say that they did have a change up over there at Old Wicked Songs, because their artist who had originated the role of the professor came down with an illness, and so they had to change up how things are working over there. So originally Jack Forbes Wilson was their person to perform Professor Joseph, and so now they're going to have another artist. I'm trying to find the name on their website, and it's not working, because that's just how my life rolls sometimes. And so you scramble through all of the internet lands to find out what else information I can find. And sometimes my fingers, particularly on mornings when I can't fully get my brain together, that I can't find information as fast as I would like to. But I just found an email from Stephanie over there, and the artist who's replacing Jack Forbes Wilson, his name is Steve Watts, and he's going to pick up performances starting this evening, and he will continue that through the run. And so I just have to say right now, I just want to give kudos to all the artists out there who have been part of that understudy system. Understudies are so important to the work that we do. And so I just give you lots of big applause, Mr. Watts and all the rest of you, and ones that we've had some illnesses during our rehearsals, so our understudies have stepped up, and it's just, I'm so grateful to those who are able to do the understudy process, because they keep the shows going. And so kudos to you. So, but now I would like to talk about what we have. We'll get into that interview in a second, but I just want to talk about what we have in addition to Old Wicked Songs, what we have coming up this weekend in the Milwaukee Theatre Alliance Network. And so last week we had George and Matt from Lungs at Vanguard, Milwaukee. So you can go and check out that interview online from last week. But this is just a 2-week run of Lungs by Duncan McMillan over at Vanguard. And so you really need to get your butts in there because this is closing weekend. And so this closes on the 28th. This closes this Sunday. And so if you have not seen this, you guys, the buzz on this is just like the people are just really in love with this 2-person show. It's really, really powerful. It's one that I have looked at in the past. But the gist of the play is that the world is getting hotter. There's unrest overseas, and one couple is thinking about having a child. Lungs is a smart and funny drama that follows a couple through the surprising life cycle of their relationship. So this takes a course over many, many years as they grapple with questions of family and change, hope, betrayal, happenstance, and the terrible pain that you can only cause the people you love. So that's where the conflict comes in. If you want to go and see Lungs, you can go to vanguardmke.com for more information on that, and they will be able to get you all the information that you need for Lungs by Duncan McMillan at Vanguard. And so get your butts over there. I'm going to try and squeeze this in as best I can. So then we have Sanctuary City over at Next Act. This is your information there. You're going to need to go to nextact.org for information about that by Martina Mayak. This is a question about dreamers. It surrounds 2 dreamers who are lifelong friends who are fighting like hell to establish a place for themselves and each other in America. And it takes place in post 9/11 Newark, New Jersey. And, it questions sort of what are they willing to risk to have a future in the only country that they've ever known. And that's what dreamers have questions for themselves all the time, that very question. To squeeze in an interview, I did a You've Got a Thing mini for director Jake Penner of this production. So there's a little interview. It's about a 7-minute interview last week with director Jake Penner of this production of Sanctuary City, and you can find that online as well to learn a little bit more information about this production. This production is also getting tons of recognition for the artists, just real powerhouse team over there. And so I would say get your butts over there as well. You can make this happen. I know that you can. You can do something tonight and then go Friday and then go Saturday. There's all sorts of discounts and deals if you need it. Just go and see some powerful art. Get that catharsis, friends. You need that in your life. I know you do. This world is super challenging. We need all the catharsis we can possibly get and walk out of the theater, at least for a little bit, with the weight lifted off your shoulders. You can do it. You can do it, my friends. I know you can. And so go and get your tickets at nextact.org for Sanctuary City. And then finally here today for stuff in our network, we've got Interchange Theater, our improv friends over there at Interchange. They are so busy. They are so busy, you guys. They crank out the improv like nobody's business. So today they're going to have Ex Machina featuring Rotary. No, that's tomorrow. I'm sorry, September 26th. Ex Machina featuring Rotary And it says that you are the Galactic Council, and you're sending a crew of the Ex Machina on a mission. It's probably, they say whatever the mission is, it's probably gonna get blown up real good. Welcome aboard the Ex Machina. So funny. And then Saturday, the 27th, they have Purgatorium with the Daily Herald. And every good soul has some good in them and deserves redemption. Of course we do. And so you can go to, the easiest thing to do, you can go to Interchange Theater, that's a TER, theater.com. But if you just add the / and shows on the end of that, that'll take you right to the page that you need to go. They make it super easy over there for you to get your tickets for some good old improv at Interchange. And so make it happen. So, but also tonight, every Thursday night, they have an open jam or an open mic for all of you out there who want to try your hand at some open mic funnies. I thought about it. And then I have my cringe face because I think I'm funny sometimes, and then sometimes I just cringe at my jokes. So I don't know. That's what we've got. Oh, no, I'm a crazy person. You all know that. So also this month we are observing National Hispanic Heritage Month. So the Hispanic Heritage Month is not only a time for those of Hispanic and Latino descent to celebrate their cultural roots, but it's also good for us from all backgrounds to learn, appreciate, and celebrate the rich tapestry of Hispanic and Latino cultures that are present in our everyday lives, really. And so Hispanic and Latino communities have left an unforgettable mark on the fields of art, music, literature, science, politics, education, and countless other domains. A really good website for this that you can go and check out is the National Education Association. That's NEA.org. And find out more about that. That runs from September 15th to October 15th. So we've got a couple weeks left on that. Just go and do it. Just learn some things. It'll be good for you. And then it's also Suicide Prevention Awareness Month. And that is each September. It's a time to raise awareness, spread hope, spark meaningful action around one of the most urgent mental health issues of our times. It's really to make sure that we and our friends and families have access to the tools, resources, and support that we need to talk openly about suicide prevention, recognize warning signs, and seek help. If you want to find out more information about how you can help, you can go to NAMI.org to get resources for that. If you're in a crisis, you can call or text 988 to reach the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline 24/7. I think you can still do that. I think it might have been, nope, not going to say it because I just don't know. But hopefully it's still a resource out there because we need it. And so that is what we have for this month. And then, so let's just get into the interview with Amy and Stephen. Really great, fun people. They've worked in Milwaukee for a few years, I will say. And they'll talk a little bit about that, about their connection with Milwaukee Chamber Theatre and how long they've actually been, partnering and collaborating with that team over there. And then I will be back to close it out. But that's just a little, like, into 18 minutes, I think, is this interview. And here Here it is. Well, Stephen and Amy, thank you so much for joining me today, for squeezing me into your calendar. I very much appreciate when anybody makes time to come on this program. So thank you both so much for being here today. I'm very excited to have part of the visual team here today of Old Wicked Songs over at Milwaukee Chamber Theatre. How are you two today?
Good.
Yeah, pretty good.
Good. Well, pretty good is good enough these days, mostly. So I just would like you to sort of introduce yourselves and just talk a little bit about not only like just your background and sort of like what you do, and then how you ended up at Old Wicked Songs. And so Amy, why don't we start with you and let us know where you came from, where you're going.
Exciting. Well, I am originally from Virginia. I'm a Southerner, replanted, naturalized cheesehead. I have a background in theater and classics, and I train kind of as a dramaturg critic, and that still really influences how I do my work. I recently graduated with a Master's of Sustainable Peace Building from UW Milwaukee.
Wow.
So I'm really passionate about systems analysis and evaluation, facilitation, mediation, all those things, and all of which are things that I use as part of my process. And it's been interesting the past few years to sort of have my theater work and my academic work sort of in conversation with each other.
That's super interesting. Would it be fair to call you a nerd?
I mean, I would say yes.
I mean, in the best of ways. I consider myself a nerd. I love putting this program together. I love geeking out on like media things and whatever. So I'm that is no judgment at all.
No. But the Nerd is one of my two favorite plays. The other one is King Lear, just so you know.
Oh, well, I know Mr. James Pickering, who has done both of those plays. And
yes,
so,
I designed it for him once.
I'm going to give him the heads up that we gave him a little shout out today in the program. He will love that because we know that Mr. Pickering loves everything focused on him. So
I think Amy is bearing the lead that she designs costumes regularly across Milwaukee.
Yes.
Almost everybody. So like let's be honest that's like, if you think of Amy Horst, you think of really amazing costume design. So
right. So for this particular interview and this particular play, you are a costume designer extraordinaire for Old Wicked Songs.
80% extraordinaire, which is a pretty good. It's a pretty good percentage.
It's a good number. That's a good number.
It's not bad.
But I've been working with Chamber Theater going back to. I was trying to think of the exact year, but like 98, 99, somewhere in there. My first show was called 3 Days of Rain.
I think I saw that show. I think I have a program in my closet from that show.
You may have been a mere infant, but yes.
I was not a mere infant.
Yeah, Mary Kerr was in it, and Doug Manchesky, and the third person, I can't think of who the third person was. I apologize to whoever you are.
That person, yes. Mm-hmm. No, I'm going to
sorry to that man.
I literally was looking through my programs the other day because I was looking for something, and I swear to God that program is in there. I will text you the third person if it in fact is that person.
Amazing.
Whatever.
So I've been working with Chamber for a long time. We have a long relationship. It's a place I really love working.
Yeah.
I mean, every space has its own like secret sauce, and they're all amazing. Like, one of the reasons that I've stayed in Milwaukee, besides inertia, is just because of the level that this community plays at is so much higher than you might think it would be based on the size. And I think everybody the community here is really supportive and very much about like, how are we going to move forward together as a community, not one organization over another, but how can we make this soil the most fertile it can be? How can we compost all the experience and knowledge that we have in this city into fertile ground for collaboration and community?
Hear, hear. Love that. Yes. Stephen, now you get to follow that. Can you talk a little bit about yourself and what you're doing and where you came from and where you're going?
I'm trying to see where I fit in the compost cycle in this whole conversation, but we'll come back to that. I teach at Marquette University, and I have been here. Well, I'm originally from Wisconsin. I grew up in Waukesha, and we returned to town in 2000. So this is my 26th year of teaching at Marquette. Love it here. Love it in Milwaukee, and everything that Amy has said about the artistic community is true. It's a really interesting, tightly woven fabric that everybody is part of. And what I get great joy from is many of my students are integral to that fabric across the city. There's rarely a production I work on now that doesn't have a Marquette alum somehow involved.
Sure.
And I've been involved with Chamber Theatre since my first show was Trying with Molly Rohde and Richard Halverson, and directed by Michael Wright. So I did many shows with Michael Wright, and then and now I've done quite a few since Brent has taken over. I did a bunch during the pandemic. I remember doing 2 or 3 in the closed room with no audience. I'm happy to not be doing that again.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah, but I seem to spend a lot of time designing in this studio space. In fact, I did a design in there for Theater X back in the day. I did 2 for Theater X.
Wow.
I was resident with Theater X for a number of years, and I was telling somebody last week while we were sitting in there that I have no idea how many shows I've done in that space, but it's more than anywhere else, any other space.
Yeah. And it's a really interesting space to do the scenic design for, because a lot of people come in and they say it's confining, but I think it's really an interesting adventure to kind of figure out how you can get all the requisite parts into it and get height and get depth. And I feel good about where we are with this show, and I just try and keep pushing that along as we go. So
I was just going to say, one thing that I love about working with you is getting a chance to sort of watch you solve those puzzles. And that's something that, like, that part of it scratches a particular itch in that part of my brain of like, well, how's he going to do this thing? And with this show, it's like, you have this studio. Also, it has to have a giant
grand piano. Yeah.
Also, it has to have furniture. Also, it has to do this, that, and the other thing. And like, how are you going to do that and make the actors legible in that space, doing all the things that they have to do?
And can we look out over Vienna at the same time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And about that rain, where are we going to put that rain?
And it's going to rain outside, and yeah. And do you have a sense that they are actually on the 3rd floor of this institution? And can we get a sense of like that old world flavor in this black box? So, and yet, like, it has to feel dramatically different from the Kitchen of Clyde's from last season, and just kind of work your way backwards. And so each one is a new adventure, and that's what's exciting about it, is that it's a new it really is a puzzle to solve.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, you sent me a great rendering that I'll put up here in the video that shows all that detail and the work that has gone into that. And there are bits and pieces of production photos that you can see from the marketing photos. I think there's references to all of that as well. So that's very cool. I'm very excited to see it. The constructivists, we work opposite of chamber. So it goes like chamber, constructivist, chamber, constructivist, chamber. So that's how we're hopping this season. And we just had the same process of, because we're doing a classic farce with zombies, but that's our work. And we had to figure out how to get 5 doors on stage in that space. And our set designer did a wonderful job as well, Sarah Harris. But I completely understand where you're coming from of how to make, and Clyde's was great. And so if you didn't see that, boo. You guys get out there and see some theater and at chamber. And so, so I completely know that whole scope of what you're talking about.
Well, and the one thing I would say is that, like, and I think Amy plays a role in this, but this is an interesting production in that it really was collaborative, right? I mean, most are, but this one just felt like it had a through line from Elise Edelman as director, through the cast, through Jim Guy as props designer and lighting. And so, like, there are a lot of solutions in that puzzle that we just talked about that came from sources in the design room.
Sure.
And like, how do we solve it? We need to get this for the lighting, and the performers need their piano to be just right. And all of these things enter into the stew. So that rendering that you see is really the work of a larger team. Sure. I drew it, but it's all of these influences that come in. And that's when it's really rewarding, is when you feel like we've collaborated properly.
Yeah, I 100% co-sign that. And for me, I like the visual language of the scenic elements and prop elements and costume elements all to be telling the same story and at the same sort of level of abstraction versus realism or playfulness versus naturalism. I'm a person I'm a collaborator by nature. I'm a collaborator first. So I'm not a person who originates ideas, right? I like to jump off of other people's ideas. That's why I hate to go first. And I always want to be like, well, what is the set going to look like before I have any decisions? Because I need that permission structure in a way.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I think that's great to have people in the room like yourself to show that other end of that type of process. And particularly because our art is so collaborative by nature, to have facilitators like yourself to walk people through that process of that particular style, I think is great. Kudos to you.
Thank you.
So
we also need to shout out Carrie Dahl, the scenic painter, on this one.
Oh yeah.
Because like the paint work on this set is just extraordinary, to the point where audience members at the preview night were coming up and interrupting the stage manager who was doing her intermission shift to ask about the paint treatments.
That's amazing. Ooh, I can't wait.
Mm-hmm.
What
a tribute.
Yes.
Yeah, she does great work. Yeah.
She's amazing.
That's fantastic. So, well, I mean, in addition to the awesome paint work, why else in each of your opinions do you think that people should see this show, Old Wicked Songs? Why do you think it's gonna really touch people this time?
I'm gonna let our dramaturg speak first.
The dramaturg person.
Well,
that's you, Amy.
Here's the thing. I think that the story is very beautiful, and there's a lot of technical elements in the performances that are like the acting is top notch. All of the production world around that is fantastic. The musicianship is extraordinary. But the thing that really speaks to me personally is there's a theme about how people grow in their understanding of each other and their art through mentorship, which turns into mutual mentorship, and each person in that relationship through the art learning how to become more fully human, more fully themselves, because I believe that we don't become ourselves in the absence of other people. We become more human through relating to other humans and building together. So I think that watching the relationship of the characters develop in that way, but also watching the two performers in real time, right, connect in a way that is so reflective and so tender and so nurturing and so challenging and so bold is really like, it's a powerful thing to experience and to sort of feel ourselves go through that in an empathetic way, in a secondhand way, but in a way that like helps us feel the reality of it. And I think that's just beautiful. And like, who wouldn't want that experience?
Who wouldn't want that experience? That is an excellent question. Maybe Stephen has the answer.
No, I would say that the piece that speaks to me about this is, you know, like my whole life is about teaching, right? And it's that teacher-student relationship, and how in that relationship the teacher actually comes closer to self-actualization through the process. And the whole piece is layered through the use of music to help move the story forward. And the work that they do is really remarkable. It's really, yeah, it's just really beautiful. It's a beautiful piece. And
That's
funny at moments. Yeah.
That's fantastic. Well, I can't wait. I can't wait to see it, and I can't wait to see your work, because just the little bits that I have been able to see, it looks really beautiful. Kudos to you all. So if you want to go and see this, they need to go to Milwaukee Chamber Theatre. That's a TRE theater.org to come and see Stephen and Amy's awesome work on this Old Wicked Songs. And so thank you so much, both of you, for coming today, and I hope you have a most wonderful day.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having us.
Thanks for the opportunity. Yeah.
There you go. There you have it. There is Amy Horst, Stephen Hudson-Mairet, and their what seems like endless knowledge about Old Wicked Songs over there at Milwaukee Chamber Theatre, and also a little bit about their background and things. And so I really could have talked to them for a very, very long time. That, their well goes real deep on those two artists. So that's what we got. That's what we got this week. Next week, oh my gosh, I think we have Skylight. Next week coming up. Oh no, another thing that I need to check before I sign on to these things. Who's coming up next week? Oh my gosh. Yeah, because we're going into October. Oh my gosh, you guys, we're going into October. How is that even possible? I do not understand that at all. I would like to really post out there on the internet about our whole month schedule. I think I'm going to do that. Our month of October, what we've got coming up here. And so I hope you enjoyed today. I hope you go out there and seek other versions of this program and find out about theaters in Milwaukee and what we do and how we do it. And so I will see you next week. Wait. I almost forgot. When we were doing the interview with Stephen and Amy, we forgot to touch on that there's a lot of partnerships going on in Milwaukee with multiple theater companies with this project called Violins of Hope. It's a project that is concert based and based on a private collection of violins, violas, and cellos, all collected since the end of World War II. Many of the instruments belonged to Jews before and during the war, and many were donated by or bought from survivors, and some arrived through family members, and many simply carry Stars of David as decoration. All the instruments have a common denominator as symbols of hope, in a way to say, remember me, remember us. Life is good, celebrate it for those who perished, for those who survived, for all people. And every project is accompanied by an extensive educational program. If you would like more information about that, you can go to violins-of-hope.com for more information about that. So that is what we got for this week. So I hope that you enjoyed this week, and I hope to see you next week on You've Got a Thing.